What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at the wildest wrestling news and rumors you need to know, including more women's matches than men's at WrestleMania 36, Triple H reportedly not wrestling at WrestleMania, is AEW moving to Mondays, Goldberg will not win at Super Showdown 2020 and here's why, a Cain Velasquez update, and what if Kevin Nash never jumped to WCW? Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos. But let's waste no further time and get straight into the first story, as we may get more women's matches than men's at WrestleMania. Now we're currently cruising down the road to WrestleMania with Super Showdown fast approaching, and not to mention this year's Elimination Chamber pay-per-view coming up soon. So many rumors are coming out at this point on what the WWE has in store for the show of shows. Everybody's favourite Dave recently told that the women of WWE will have a bigger role at this year's Mania, more than any previous year, with 6 matches being planned on the card. Last year's WrestleMania had 3, so they plan on doubling that figure this year. Now 2 matches have already been announced, that being Rhea Ripley vs Charlotte Flair with the possible addition of Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch versus the winner of the Women's Elimination Chamber match, which is likely to be Shayna Baszler, as well as the rumoured match of Naomi vs Bayley for the SmackDown Women's Championship. And to get a few more matches, WWE could add in a tag team match for the gold featuring the Kabuki Warriors and throw in a women's battle royal. But whatever the case, it seems clear that the WWE is set to prove the women's revolution is still thriving. Which other matches would you like to see at Mania involving the women? Next up, Triple H reportedly not working this year's Mania. Yeah, it's around this time of year Triple H dusts off the old Harley Davidson, Stephanie brings out her tight leathers, and WWE makes use of the city's entire police force for the game's entrance. However, that might not be the case this year. Well, unless plans change closer towards Mania, according to Dave Meltzer, Triple H will not be wrestling this year. This will actually mark the first time since WrestleMania 23 that the game will miss a Mania. That's pretty big. Would you guys still want to see Triple H wrestle? And if plans do change, who would you want him to face? Next up is AEW moving to Mondays. Although there's currently a Wednesday night war in wrestling, what are the chances of a Monday night war resuming? Cody and Brandy Rhodes sat down for an interview with 11 Alive recently, and Cody talked about AEW moving to Mondays. In 5 years, who knows? If we have a random storm situation or something popped up and we had to put Dynamite on a Monday night, if that was to happen in this current threshold, I'd still be very confident in what we can do. AEW has been wise in not launching an unwise and frankly unnecessary war on the WWE. AEW knows its best strategy is to grow its own brand and let competition take place on its own terms if possible. Starting a Monday Night War at this point would do nothing for AEW other than hurt its ratings. As let's face it, even though WWE's ratings have decreased over a number of years, they'd still cream AEW on a Monday night. Next up, Goldberg will not win at Super Showdown 2020, and here's why. Well, the title is on the line for next week's Super Showdown event in Saudi Arabia, and whilst there have been rumours of Goldberg winning, that might not be the case considering Meltzer has been informed he's not scheduled to wrestle at this year's Mania, being the second big name to miss it, the third being Ronda Rousey. He mentioned recently, "Everything is obviously subject to change as Vince McMahon could always decide Goldberg is a better opponent for Reigns for a WrestleMania marquee, but that would also mean ditching plans for months of building Bray Wyatt up for Reigns." Whilst Vince could change plans at the drop of a hat, surely he wouldn't change his mind that late in the day for such a huge match. Next up, a Cain Velasquez update. Now if you're wondering where Cain Velasquez is, after all, wasn't the UFC great supposed to be in this year's Royal Rumble? Well, it turns out he's been on the mend. In an exclusive report, Wrestling Inc.'s Nick Hausman updated fans that former UFC heavyweight champion Cain Velasquez successfully had his knee scoped recently and is reportedly feeling completely healthy. Wrestling Inc. has confirmed. Wrestling Inc. has also confirmed that Velasquez is currently at the WWE Performance Center getting in reps as he prepares for his next match. Velasquez is expected to be at the WWE Performance Center for the next 2 weeks. There's currently no word on when or where Velasquez's next match will take place. There was of course talk of Cain battling Brock Lesnar in a rematch following their brief bout at 2019's Crown Jewel, But with Brock defending the WWE Championship against Drew McIntyre, there's no telling if or when the two will battle again. Although if Brock drops the belt to the Scottish psychopath, it would be a good way to keep Brock out of the title picture by having him feud with Velasquez. And our final story, what if Kevin Nash never jumped to WCW? Have you ever wondered what might have happened if Kevin Nash had stayed in the WWF rather than jumping over to the competition with Scott Hall? During his appearance on Corey Gray's After the Bell podcast, Nash elaborated on what he thought would have happened. Well, if I would have stayed, I would have dropped the belt to Brett to give to Shawn unless I was guaranteed a win at WrestleMania against Undertaker. I wouldn't have done it. No, I would have had too many losses in a row. I would have needed a big win right there, so there goes the streak. I'm just saying it's a butterfly effect. Mark wasn't a mark. He would have done it. For me to do business, that could have been a possibility. That would be incredible. So if Kevin Nash never went to WCW, the streak would have never happened. Of course, if he also didn't go to WCW, the NWO may have never started. But that's my mind blown for today. But be sure to leave your comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.